Welcome to Guzzler.
You heard Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
You heard of them, right?
Yeah, I know Guns N' Roses.
So 1994, Guns N' Roses announced a new album coming out. I can't remember what it's called. It was like Chinese Democracy or something. I didn't Google it.
Should have. You had the
By
time.
2018, the album still wasn't out.
Yep.
So, Dr. Pepper said, if Guns N' Roses release this album by the end of the year...
Let me guess.
Yeah, go on.
They'll give everyone a free can of
Everyone
Dr.
where,
Pepper.
though?
In America.
He's done it.
Have you heard it before?
Clairvoyant, mate.
They'll give everyone in America a free can of Dr. Pepper, but they weren't
I
ready.
can guess again.
So they set up a website. The website crashed
And they
immediately.
got sued for 100 grand.
I don't know how much they got sued for. Actually, I didn't write it down. Axl Rose sued them. Yeah. Right, I've got a different story now.
I really like that story. Imagine, being them,
Dr. Pepper.
thinking that was just gonna...
So they just thought, Guns N' Roses aren't release this album
Yeah.
just because we've said this.
Yeah.
And then Axl Rose, because he's a bit of a legend, was like,
Let's do it.
let's do it.
I want to lay some context. I'm not clairvoyant. We tried to record this once, and Alfie forgot to press record.
I pressed record. So LG, in 2013, decided in Seoul, which is in
South
Korea, they decided they were going to tie loads of vouchers to helium balloons for free phones. And then they were going to a park and they were like, if you can get the voucher down, you can have a free phone. Each phone was worth 150 American dollars.
How many balloons there?
100, I think?
Yeah.
I literally looked down, it says 100. So what do you think happened? All these people in Korea got told there's loads of balloons floating, if you can get them down, you get a voucher.
It wasn't actually helium, it was sulfur hexafluoride, and they just sank to the floor.
They all just went, and then about 100 aliens came down, and were like, LG?
How did you know? No. They turned out with BB guns and knives tied to 2 metre long sticks. They absolutely went mental, and about 20 people were hospitalised. Some were serious and had to be rushed to hospital. Some were seriously injured and had to be rushed to hospital. Sorry. They had other events planned and they had to cancel them because people were just stabbing each other. They were shooting each other with BB guns. They were pushing each other to the ground. Just 'cause they wanted
Forget the balloons, I'm shooting it.
Just because they wanted these LG phones.
That's mad.
Guzzler Podcast.
Right. Metaphysics.
Let me guess.
Have you boys heard of metaphysics?
I've heard of metaphysics. I'm excited for it. We're back. Also, we've got a new person.
We have. Nathan's been fired. I don't know if you've heard. You heard?
Yeah.
Over the...
Who have we got instead?
His younger, uglier brother.
Mason.
That's him.
A new segment we like to call Name the Place with Mace.
Oh, incorrect. Correct.
I've got it right.
This is the first episode with the new hair.
Yes.
I like it.
I like it. Let us know what you think. No one's listening to this, but let us know what you think anyway.
Yeah.
No one's watching this. I don't know why we re-recorded it. What?
Alfie didn't even press record again.
The first time. Louis pressed it this time. What are we drinking?
It's not
I've
called
already drank it. What
a micro North English.
No.
New England IPA. We've recorded this already.
New England IPA. Not North
IPA.
English IPA.
It's just a...
No one wants anything from North England.
Newcastle.
I realised I had a lot of segment.
Yeah, because that's
Sediment.
Sediment.
That's because it's from the north of England. Someone's pissed.
This can't go out.
Sediment in the bottom. And I can't possibly drink this, but it tastes quite nice. I've tried some. You've had your whole thing.
I did it.
It's very nice. And your wine is a Shiraz.
I don't care anymore.
Excellent.
No, it's House by Sainsbury's Shiraz, smooth and mellow. It's halfway between light and full body.
Do you believe in fate?
Are
we?
What? Are we moving on already?
Truly free?
Hang on. I thought I was on about.
It's the same
Just
point, mate.
I thought you were just
Do we
going through.
Do we have free will?
Just keep asking the questions, I don't care anymore.
So
I can't even remember what I said the first time.
I don't really believe in fate, no. I sort of do believe in free will, but even if it's fixed, what's it called?
What?
Determined. I don't think it really matters.
So, if I've recorded the Liverpool game,
Yeah.
and then I get home and I watch it, that result's predetermined.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, when I watch the game, I don't know the result, so it might as well be live.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Do you think it matters that if someone is completely predetermined giant because you're living your life like it's free will?
I'll repeat myself. I don't care.
All right, Declan. Where does morality come from?
Don't care.
I didn't ask you this question.
Morality.
Yeah, this is a new question. Where does good and bad come from? Where,
Oh my god, I got this!
Where does,
What is good even? I put a star next to it 'cause it's really important.
where, I like how the word morality meant nothing to him, and I went good and bad.
Oh my god!
Morality is based off of evolutionary behaviours.
Is it?
Yes. Like murder. I watched a video on Facebook once and it was like, why is murder bad? And the guy went, because God said so. And he went, how do we know that? He was like, because no one else told us so. Oh, yeah.
Sounds like Louis.
Murder has an evolutionary perspective, not to kill the people in your tribe, because the more people you have, the more likely you are to survive.
And then to kill someone else outside your tribe that was deemed okay. Yeah. And I think
Which is why we see other countries as below us.
I heard Karamo Brown from Queer Eye talk about
The best source.
Yeah,
I really like Queer Eye, but
The Pope himself.
it was
I
on
love
about
Queer Eye, but
things this like morality, And he said about when people live in like a citadel, or like in a walled area, and they would say things like the people outside this wall are bad. You love the people inside this wall, but people outside, they're bad. They're here to kill us. And then when they come near, they would just kill them. But they don't know those people from outside the wall. It's just like protect your own, kill the others. The other people are bad. And also, it quite often we're like, I don't say Premier League football teams, but like marching my hometown and a neighbouring town are really like against each other.
football's a very tribal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very, very tribal. Do you not think morality comes from just like socially constructed ideals? Sometimes it's just like things.
That's what I.
So it's either what we just talked about then,
and then we look down on other like rural tribes and stuff because they still sometimes kill or they eat each other or something like that, or like they get rid of the weak and stuff. But we look down on them based off of just stuff we've constructed, right?
And they look down at us because they think that we would be weak because we're just like living this life.
Yeah, exactly.
Or morality is just learned. So we've just. My dad told me that murder was bad. His dad told him that murder was bad.
So it doesn't really mean anything. It's like stories that we pass down.
So do you not think that like in that sense that we all go, oh, that's disgusting, that person killed that person, they should put inside for life, but like we've only deemed that as evil. Yeah, we've deemed that as evil.
Yeah.
But that person might be like, well, I'm doing the good thing. I'm doing right, and we're going, you idiot. That's not the right thing. That is bad. That is evil. But who's right and who's wrong?
Society's just decided stuff. That's just how it is.
Who is right and who's wrong?
Like, but I still stand by the fact that murder's bad.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying like.
It's sort of the Thanos perspective, though, isn't it? It's like he's trying to kill half of the universe to save all of them.
Yeah.
Just made more stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I still find it great when I think about the fact that other humans have decided they could take a human and just put them in prison. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but when I think about that like we've evolved to be like, you need to go to prison now. That's where you belong. It's insane to me.
And when like terrorists are fun, like when they kill themselves or kill people, and we go, oh, that's wrong. Like, what if they're doing that because that's actually the right thing to do, and we're actually just deeming that as wrong? What if that is the right thing to do? And we're just going, of course it's not. You want to help each other.
I'd argue there is no true right or true wrong.
That's weird, isn't it?
Because the absolute value of right and wrong is nature, and there's no right or wrong in nature. There's just action.
Yeah, I agree with that. To be fair, yeah, exactly. That leads me on to the nice. What's the meaning of life?
I got what it means.
Living.
I think this is going to sound like I'm a frat boy.
I agree. The meaning of life is life. It just is.
I'm going to sound like a frat boy on an 18 at 30 holiday. But my answer is
spiking people's drinks.
To have a good time.
Have
a good time. Enjoy yourself.
I agree.
Living.
Completely.
The point of life is living. And if you disagree,
beep.
Yourself.
I'm glad we all agreed very quickly. On the
but I don't want to agree quickly.
To just just have a good time. Experience things. Just do it.
Because at the end, eventually, I'm sure at some point we can objectify a meaning of life. but that will never ever come in our lifetime, and probably even our family tree's lifetime. So what's the point of trying to figure out the point of life? Just live it.
Life is a very, very beautiful thing, which is a very, 1 in 10 trillion more than that we even got on
it's
this.
You specifically.
One over
this thing.
infinity.
It's such a beautiful thing, and
there isn't a mathematical way of working out how you are sitting in this chair today.
And I was talking to someone the other day actually about the idea that someone said that they had to go to hospital a lot because they were pregnant and their baby wasn't doing so well, and they were like really upset from that, and they were like, "Oh, well, all these people who have children." It's on TV. If you have children, it's just not fair, is it? But actually, the idea of giving birth anyway shouldn't be a given fact. I don't think, because giving birth is a miracle. I believe that, like, the fact that if you're a baby and it's totally healthy and well and okay, that's a miracle in itself. Like, I think that
I believe that by 100 years ago.
I don't mean like, ooh, there's a baby. I mean, like, the fact that, like, everything could possibly be okay. Like, I don't think that should be a given, because you can, as a parent, you can have nothing wrong with you, and your child could come out like.
Oh yeah. It's gratuitous. However,
and I don't think it should be taken as a given that when you have children, like, I'm just gonna have an okay. I shouldn't think I'm gonna have an okay child if it's gonna be absolutely fine, because then when you have one that's not, you could be like, well, why?
I see what you mean,
but
like,
I
feel
I don't think we should take it for granted.
The chance of things going wrong
is smaller than the chance you having a perfectly healthy baby.
Yeah.
I don't think we should take it
You're
for
way
granted.
more likely to
But,
have perfectly healthy in the Western world anyway.
So what would you take for granted
Which one?
in that scenario?
What?
You're pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, what's a certainty to you?
Nothing. I'm currently pregnant.
Okay. Right. But something's going to come out of you
Or not.
at some point.
So it might. I might not.
Something will come out.
Yeah, but it might not be alive.
Yeah, I get that. I agree completely.
Yeah.
But, like, that's a certainty.
Yes, yeah, okay. Something will come out of my body. But that's the only certainty.
But, like, surely when you assume the thing that's most likely to happen at all points, right? Like, when you go to work every morning, you assume you're going to get there.
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah, but that's. I
don't hope I want to get to it.
You should take that as a certainty.
Yeah.
Do you take it as a miracle when you get to work?
No, but
I don't know how the percentages line up, but I reckon it's pretty similar.
But I think that's just
will
because
crash or something will happen, or you'll get a flat
Maybe
tire or
so.
something, and your baby's not alright.
But I just think that maybe. But in my head, I believe that, like, by going to work, I do an awful lot, and I'm an okay driver. And I can assure myself, though, that I'm an okay driver. I can't assure what everyone else in the other cars
You've
can
got
be
millions of years of evolutionary biology behind your body.
Yeah, but I just think, like, sometimes it doesn't always.
You've got
always
5
work out.
years of driving experience behind you.
There's loads of
But I
cars on the road, but there's also loads of babies born every day that are perfectly healthy.
But I also think that, like, across the whole animal kingdom, I don't mean for us, but like pandas can only mate for 48 hours a year and stuff like that. I think it's just like
dumb, man.
It's just
Same.
it's just I don't think it should be so for granted. I don't think it should be like, I'm gonna have a baby, my baby's gonna be okay. I'm gonna have 10 of them, it's gonna be great. Like,
we're evolved to assume that.
Yeah,
It's like the only thing we're made to do is to make more of ourselves.
So. I don't assume it.
Fair enough. I agree with
I think
miracle
you should
in terms
assume
of
but not expect. Because assumptions are based off possibilities.
I agree with not being surprised if something goes wrong, because there's always a mathematical probability of that. Like, there's always a chance that will happen and stuff.
Did you go for a scan before your baby's born?
You probably will have a baby that's fine.
And whether or not it's Down syndrome or got things wrong with it and for that. And people will take that test, but then on that circumstance, if you're going to assume or expect everything to be okay, then just don't go for the test then, if you're that sure.
Morally speaking, if you go to the test...
That's not what we're saying, though.
What are you saying then? What's the difference?
What do you mean, what's the difference?
Well, if you're going to expect it to go okay, why would you go for a scan to see if it's going to be okay? If you expect it's going to be okay.
That's the worst argument I've ever heard.
Is it?
There's always a mathematical probability the baby's not okay.
Yeah, no,
you always assume the thing that's the mathematical...
You assume not
most
expect.
likely. You always assume the thing that's most likely.
Right.
Like, you assume you're going to get to work. It's a perfect example. Even though thousands of people crash every single day, or get a flat tyre, or wake up late with their alarm, or like, you assume I'm going to be at work tomorrow. You assume the baby, you'd still test it. You'd still take measures to make sure it's okay.
So here's another question. You go to the test and you find out there is something wrong with the baby.
Yeah,
What do you do?
Depends what it is, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think Down syndrome's that bad
I think that's
at all. Like, I
But
don't think
saying
there's any
that they're
shame
going
in
to
that.
end up vegetative for like the whole of their life.
Then I think that's. I don't think that person would want to live like that.
But is that because you wouldn't want to live like that?
Yes.
Right.
I think
I agree.
the decisions you make are based off of the fact that, like, what would you do? I think because you wouldn't want to live like that. So would you want your child, who you endlessly love, would you want your child to live like that? Because they're not living the life that you live. They can't go out and do similar things and stuff like that.
I agree with that as well. But like, it depends what sort of like what if you, I don't know if there is a test for this, but like, what if you knew your baby was going to be autistic or something?
Right.
I don't think that's the end of the world at all.
So they can live perfectly.
I would
happy.
never get rid of like that child's going to be fine.
My little brother's autistic.
Exactly. Like it'd be a bit different, but like the child's going to be fine. They'd be happy enough.
He
and,
just
like,
cracks on with his day.
exactly. So I'd never do anything
As
like
long
that.
as you leave him alone, he's
If it was like
perfectly happy.
massively debilitating,
Mm.
I agree with Louis. Like, yeah, you've got to make some choice then. But like Down syndrome or autistic or something, like, I don't see the problem.
2 heads.
2 heads, 3 heads, even.
2 heads is that's 2 kisses is
2
better
heads
than 1
is better
kiss.
than one. That's in a future episode. What's reality?
I think reality is everything that we can see, feel, hear, touch, smell. Smell. I don't know
It's a
what it was.
consequence of
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
It's subjective.
I don't know why people question reality.
So like our definition of reality
Yeah.
is our definition of reality.
Yeah.
So what's the question mean?
I don't know why people would
I've defined reality based
Yeah,
off of this.
This is it. But it's because you can't compare. There is
I mean, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no absolute value to compare.
Exactly.
reality.
Imagine if I was here now, I was going, this is reality, this is real, I'm doing this real life, and you were like, this isn't real, I would be your friend. I'll be honest, because I think you're a mug.
Yeah.
Because this is real,
But
this
right.
is real.
So say if I knew the absolute value of reality
Yeah,
and you didn't,
yeah.
then
But this is real to me, and it's my life, it's in my life that I'm living, so it's real to me, so that's reality.
but then to me you're just a Sims character.
But that's my life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, to me, that's reality. That is reality.
Yeah,
In- in
so
this-
you're in
But
Sims.
that's reality
And if this
to
was
you.
if this was
But like, if
a
I'm
person-
in Sims right now,
Yeah.
I've defined reality based off of this.
Yeah. To you.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
This is what matters.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, what if there is an actual reality, like a true absolute reality?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I agree.
because that's just,
But-
that's just another
but-
realm then,
But
right?
maybe there is a true absolute reality that we're just not in.
Yeah, but I just don't care.
But
Oh,
like,
it
say,
doesn't matter.
say this table's a hologram, right?
Just
And
the table.
yeah, and I put my glass on it, and I put my glass on it,
Yeah.
and it keeps it like this.
Yeah.
Then if that's a hologram, it's just real, isn't it? It is real because it's doing its job. I can see, I can
It's
feel, I can touch
holographic
it.
wine tastes nice.
Then-
I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie.
Then it's real.
Yeah, I agree. To be fair. Are we living in a simulation?
You asking me, so I can give you an answer.
Living in a simulation.
I think there's a good chance. I think this is as possible as it is impossible.
I just keep going back to religion. Say God made us.
Mm.
Wait, why did God make us?
I
Genuine,
don't
genuine
know, I
question.
don't know. I actually don't. I
Why
don't
do
know.
Christians think God made us?
This is again like science can tell us how, God can tell us why, but God of God can tell us why God made us.
I'm very much.
They don't know why
I'm
God
going
made
through
us.
the
God.
I'm going through the Bible.
Why did I
and
make them?
I don't know if I've read Between Lines. I haven't read that bit, but I don't know why God
They,
made us.
they don't know why God made
No.
us.
And they might do. I don't know.
Because he doesn't interact with us.
But I believe he does.
I thought
Yeah, but he
maybe
doesn't.
maybe
So
maybe God made us as a simulation.
Yeah, well, I think that could possibly. Maybe God made a big bang.
Just like see what happens in that.
Maybe God made a big bang.
in your sense, God is just an arbitrary human or being that.
I don't believe in God at all.
This is what I'm saying. But in your analogy,
Yeah.
God is an arbitrary being that can
Some sort of being that's
formulate-
made us and
Yeah.
is observing us.
that we've
What's
just
the difference
named
between
God.
The Sims and that?
Nothing.
It's a simulation.
The simulation thing, is that a real scientific?
Maybe. Not really sure.
Because that, if you ignore
not
if you ignore God and all that for a second, and like the idea of the Big Bang, like it's all really scientific, and then I find it so weird that they can just turn around and go, but it might actually be Sims, because that suddenly just blows everything out and just be like, oh, okay. You know what I think?
Maybe.
So it's really scientific. It's like we've got all these reasons, and someone turns around and goes, "You're actually in a computer game. Someone's playing
but
you,
that-
and they might just
that's-
turn their screen off."
That's philosophical, isn't it? Instead of scientific.
Can you prove anything?
Oh, right. So,
Yes.
no.
Oh, you're wrong. If I spit on your face now, I can prove it.
Yeah.
There we go
But
then.
if
So you're
it's
wrong. Ha!
Right. So I'm just going to go back to science because science is in the realm of falsifiability.
Yeah.
And it's less about trying to prove you're right than you're wrong. But it's going to be different with physics because it's absolute. But in things like other things,
Other things.
it's hard to prove a lot because we've just put arbitrary values on everything, and therefore you're just kind of fighting your own cause.
Like,
All right, butter and lard, butter and margarine.
yeah.
Yeah. So we were using butter for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and then someone went, butter's bad for you, released a load of studies proving that marge was better for you than butter because it had less fats in it, right? But now we've gone back to butter because marge is full of trans fats, where butter's full of saturated fats, and we've found out that although marge has less fats, trans fats are vastly worse than saturated fats are. Right,
I think
so the science just keeps going back and forth, and
Like
it's
sugar
science
and stuff like
it's
that.
a grey area, not an absolute, and it
But
just flips
it's
in
just
between
gonna level out
depending
though,
on the.
Until eventually we do know, right? Eventually.
I guess, but
They seemed to do that for a while. Everything did that for a while. It's something we didn't know what like galaxies were and stuff. There's famous debates where like we didn't know, and it kept going back and forth, and we thought like maybe this is just us, maybe it's just them, maybe there's other stuff in that. But now we know.
My granddad used to smoke more than 20 a day, about 30 a day. He started smoking when he was 12 years old. He lived to 96 years old. He used to have beef dripping on toast with just lard, and just eat that every Sunday. And he'd 96, because like back then, in like the 40s and 30s, they didn't care about like fats and like literally fat. They didn't care about that stuff. And then it got to like 70s, and it was like, yeah, like saturated fat's bad. It got to the 90s, and it was like, woo, sugar. And it was like, now sugar's bad. Don't care about saturated fats anymore. Sugar's the bad thing. It does. I'm agreeing with you in the sense that it does like flip.
yeah,
And
How
stuff
can we
like
know
that.
something's right then, or true?
In the sense of like, how do I know
Correct.
this is real?
No.
it has to be compared to an absolute value.
I'm
if it's not
confused.
compared to an absolute value, it's grey.
'Cause
Like
you-
gravity and stuff like that. I'm
Or-
not talking about like,
and-
can I know
like
this
light
glass is
speed.
real? I'm like, how can we prove the things we know?
Like,
Outside of our physical, like where I am right now and the things I feel and that, how can I know something's right?
it has to be
Give me an
compared to an
example.
absolute value.
How can I know that in America there's Yellowstone Park? I've never been there. I've never felt it. I don't know. I don't feel
Okay,
it.
right.
I haven't observed it. How do I know that that's real?
Do you just have to base that off of? You don't. You
It,
personally don't. You
it
just
has to
base
be
that off of the
compared
idea
to an
that, like,
absolute value. Like the seconds thing.
Yeah.
So that is compared to an absolute value.
So second, this is in the other one. So second is defined by like the decay of a cesium atom
Yeah.
because we know exactly how long a cesium atom.
So that
takes
is
to
an
decay.
absolute value. We know
So how do
that
you know
is it.
Yellowstone Park exists?
That's yeah.
because you can go and stand in it.
Because you
How
have.
do you know that?
Because you're in it. It's
No,
your
no, but-
reality.
but you-
this
you haven't
this is a
been.
question of reality, not anything else. It's not that Yellowstone Park doesn't exist, but in your reality it does. So
But
therefore,
how do you know it's real? That's my question.
yeah, but
That's
this
the whole
is
question. How do you know that it exists?
because in
somewhere?
my reality it does.
How do you know that? 'Cause you haven't been.
Yeah, but other people have.
But
in
that's-
my
that's-
reality,
That's just a story, though, isn't it? They've
and
only
I've
told you
seen
a story.
pictures of it.
That's
and
only a
videos
picture.
of it. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm
in
just
my reality,
asking you
it's
why
real.
you like. I agree. You've seen pictures, videos. You've read about
They
it.
can be fake in the sense of like you can see ghost videos, but not be real.
There's not that sort of evidence.
All right, so is this
I
room
don't
real?
believe in. Yeah, because I'm in it though. 'Cause I
yeah,
know that.
Yeah, but in your reality you're in it. But in someone else's, this room doesn't exist. But it does.
It's in Google Maps and stuff. That wasn't actually my question. I'm saying, how can you prove like science, basically,
You can't,
effectively?
You can't.
You don't.
It's just there was all these theories, right?
Yeah. What does that mean?
That you can prove it wrong, or prove it right.
Theories is just an idea.
Yeah, but you provide evidence for science. You can't just say anything. That's not how science works.
No, then you have to back it up.
You can't say anything. You have to say something and then back it up, and then people can disprove you.
Mm.
So if I say like gravity is real, Because if I drop this, I can see that it falls at the exact same rate all the time. Here's the numbers, here's the data.
But
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, but don't you have to prove yourself wrong?
No.
That's the whole point of falsifiability.
Science proves you wrong as a collective. Science is not one person. Science has never been one person. It's a group of people working together to prove each other wrong. You try and prove your colleagues wrong. That's what makes science so... The idea is your theory is so solid that no one else in the whole world can prove you wrong. Even though they try. People try all the time to prove everyone wrong. It doesn't work. Einstein proved Newton wrong with gravity because his equations are a little bit off. We still use his equations, but they're a little bit off. Because Newton wasn't quite right. That's why I don't believe in a God. Because no one can provide any evidence for a God at all for someone else to disprove. You can't just come and say God's real. You haven't got anything to back that up whatsoever. Literally nothing.
Yeah, but on the flip side, atheism...
We can't disprove everything.
Yeah, but you like... Atheism isn't saying you can't prove God's existence, so I don't believe in it. Atheism is saying God doesn't exist, and you can't prove that either. You have no evidence that God doesn't exist.
It doesn't work like that. Nothing works like that.
Atheism is, I don't believe in God because you can't prove it.
I disagree.
That's what atheism is. Atheism is you can't prove it, but when you prove it, I will believe.
Is atheism?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not atheism.
That is atheism.
Atheism is I don't believe in a God and it doesn't matter what happens, I don't believe in a God, God's not
Until
real.
it's proved.
Exactly.
No,
He's
even
just
if God's proved, it doesn't matter. I don't believe in a God. You've falsified that or something's falsified that. God's not real at all. It's true atheism.
Yeah, exactly, which is a theory by itself. So you then have to prove that God doesn't
That's
exist.
true atheism. Yeah. I think that's complete bollocks. I think that's absolutely completely wrong.
If it's proved...
Like, technically, I'm probably agnostic. Technically.
If anything, you're anti-theist. You're not atheist, because atheists have to prove that God doesn't exist.
I don't think they do. But I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because atheism say God doesn't definitively exist. But I think to say something definitively exists, you don't need to prove that. The burden of proof is the person that thinks that something exists. They have to prove stuff. Why on earth can I just say things exist? There's flying pigs. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. So
prove me
then
wrong.
I
You
would
can't
be
prove me
an
wrong.
anti-flying pigist. But like, this is what I'm saying.
Can you prove
an anti-flying pigist?
Can you prove that flying pigs don't exist?
No, you can't. Really.
So why do you believe in a God?
Yeah, but they might. But they're living in a cave somewhere. But because
maybe
we're having
100%.
conceived.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in flying pigs because they might exist in a cave somewhere.
Yeah. So prove
I believe
that
in
they
them when
don't.
they're there. I don't have to prove. No one ever has to prove something doesn't exist.
So why does he have to prove that it does?
Because that's how it works.
Yeah, but it's not
because
conceivable,
otherwise
is
you
it?
could just make any notion out of anything, and then you should be like, people should respect my opinion, even though you just completely made something up out of nothing.
Oh, then.
But so what if a scientist came around and was like, I've got some idea, some proof to me,
Yeah.
but it's not 100% solid? Would you be like, well, that's a good idea, but I'm just not going to agree?
So
This is like the white hole, black hole thing, isn't it?
So what happens is, sometimes scientists are like, I think this might be true. I've got a little bit of maths here, but like, I'm not sure it holds up and stuff. And they have to find another scientist who thinks maybe that's true. Then they think of an experiment that will prove that.
Right.
Until that they've done an experiment to prove that, that's not
It's just
science.
words.
That's just someone might have a notion. No one cares, they think that. Someone might want to work with them on that to find some evidence or something, but until that's proven, that's just another thing. We can't take all stories as fact. It doesn't work like that.
I said earlier, Harry Potter, like, you've got to take some of it's just not real, isn't it?
Everything's real.
Everything. Alright, fair enough, looked at that.
Religion's just stories we've passed on. And I
I
like religion for that
just
purpose.
don't agree with that.
I
Religion
like the
is
fact
stories
we've
you've
passed
passed on.
stories
I
on.
agree
It's
with
nice
everything
and
you
stuff
said.
like
I
that.
just
But
like
to
put
take
an
from
opposing
that,
opinion.
that there's something is just absolutely insane. It's mental.
But do you not think that
I can't
the
believe
idea
it.
of a Big
Christianity
Bang
didn't exist
is absolutely mental?
5,000 years ago.
He's right. It didn't.
Why didn't it exist? How have we only just realised who God is? He
Moses-
sent Jesus. He sent Jesus.
Because Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible.
Yeah, but it would have made sense that if God existed, we'd have known about him since the dawn of time.
How's
we
Christianity
haven't.
only just started?
Because
What happens
Moses
to
wrote the
Ra
first-
and Osiris and Zeus and Odin?
Well,
And Gaia.
They were all the deities.
Yeah.
And now they're gone and
But-
Christianity's real.
But if someone said to me Zeus done this and he helps me on a daily basis, I wouldn't be like you
Why do
prick.
Yeah, but why do you believe
Why
that?
do you think
and why
God helps
because
you on a
is
daily
it
basis?
different
Because
when we say it?
I just think there's so many things in my life that God has helped me with and
How
guides
can you
me
believe,
along
right?
my
Me and
way,
you are
so-
sat in the same space right now.
Mm.
I've known you for 10 years.
Mm.
I've had a good time, mate. I've enjoyed myself. Why do you believe you're here and I'm still here? Well, I don't believe in a God. So how have you reached the same point as me? We're in the exact same place. We both work in schools. I got my girlfriend the day before you. We've lived very similar lives. How? You've got God on your side. I haven't.
That's
I've
good
still
point.
got here.
And it
Again,
wouldn't-
like I honestly have no problem with anyone from religion and stuff. I'm just trying to understand,
and
how.
like in a real world where God did exist thoroughly, He would have existed since the dawn of time, right?
Exactly.
So
this
we
is what
would
I
have
mean.
had scripture
This is
from
what
when
confuses
humans
me.
first existed. 75. No, well,
I
it's
think
2.5 million years ago.
I think you're removing your own agency. I think you've
Why?
made your own life. You're enjoying your own life. That's because of you. Why are you trying to give credit to God for the good things that have happened to you? Take some pride in that. I know pride's a sin, but like you've lived a good life. You're
I
a
just
happy
think, like-
person. You've got good mental health. Be proud of that.
But I
Don't give it to some thing that you've made up. Why would you do that? I understand people blaming the bad stuff on God because I get that. In their head, they're like, bad things have happened to me. I need to justify this. Someone's testing me. I get that. But good things have happened to you. Be happy with that. Don't give it to him. He's a prick.
He kills children,
He
No.
kills children.
and then he sends bishops down to fiddle with them too.
Anyway, does love exist, or is it just a hormone?
Again, it's just a hormone, but like, it doesn't matter.
But what's the feeling? The feeling of love
Yeah.
is that
Comfort.
No,
is that real?
Never felt it, mate.
Is the feeling of love or something like is that a real thing?
Again, don't know.
Do you think it is?
Is love a real thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But is it just a hormone
I think it starts as a hormone,
and then it becomes a feeling?
and then it becomes just like a lifestyle, comfort, just like a specific. You just become fond of people. It's just how it works, isn't it? Right?
Mm.
Do you think love's real?
Yeah, I think, but again, I think it's more of a lifestyle, so instead of sometimes just a feeling, because the idea of love comes from the fact that like you can't live. I think that you can't live without someone. So the idea that like that
That's why I
that
think
we love each
relationships burn out and love doesn't, though.
Yeah,
Because the
that we
feeling
love
can,
each other.
like the natural chemical feeling can
Yeah.
leave,
Yeah.
but like your affection and the time you spent with that person, your lifestyle and like how happy you are doesn't go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't get it yet. Though.
No, I think that.
But I would assume that you love me,
Don't know.
right? Alfie, I would assume that you love me and I would
yeah,
love
mate.
you because you can't live without that person. You're so happy around that person, and that is like a. Not in the same way that like that you're sexually attracted to them. I think that's a very different thing to love.
I think that when you look at love, I think it starts out as a mixture of lust, excitement, almost like drug addicts have when they get high, and it turns into a vast concoction of intimacy and matched values, memories,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everything like that. However, I think you can fall out of love with people, but the memories you have with them don't change. Which is why I think it's so hard for people that when they fall out of love to move away from it, because they've attached so many good feelings.
Yeah, I think you can
of
fall out of love.
intimacy of-
What I meant by like the reason relationships end is because like the chemical stuff and like the infatuation and the lust and stuff goes, but they haven't got that. They don't want to share memories. They don't want to make that. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about before love falls away. Before that,
Right.
some
It's the other
people
attractions.
say you just have a quick fling. It's because you don't want to go past any of that chemical stuff. You don't want the shared experiences.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You don't want any of that shared stuff, or like you're just not compatible in terms. You don't want to live. You don't want to not literally live together, but like live together. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that goes past chemicals then, because I've been vastly attracted to people that I've got all the chemicals with, but I can't see a future with, because I think that I reckon people put a value on the mental component that's beyond chemical.
The compatibility. Sort of
Yeah,
thing,
so you can't see yourself having the memories, the intimacy, and the keeping the values and everything like that with that person, but you can see all the chemical side.
Right, fair. I've got more before. Have you got?
What time are you on?
36.
25 to.
Can cause and effect be simultaneous? Like, is time an illusion? Is time real?
I don't think so.
You think time's real?
I think that it's something made, right?
I think, personally, I'm not 100% to be fair, I don't completely disagree with you at all. I think we've fabricated the incrementation of time. I know we have. We've made up the incrementation of time. Like Dex said in the original recording, where like we've divided the years into days and stuff like that. Like the incrementation, but I do think time is progressive and like time moves on.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
in terms of that time is a thing. There's a
Yeah. But you mean like
in our daily life, we've made time to make our life easier, right?
Yeah,
day and night, 6 o'clock is dinner
leap
time.
years,
Leap years, birthdays,
when it comes to time, I think mathematically speaking, everything is as possible as every other theory, because we can't prove it because we haven't. We can see dimensions x, y, and z, but we can't deal with time yet. We can't deal with that fourth. We haven't got the science for it.
Mathematically, we deal with more dimensions than that.
Yeah, but
I've done infinite dimension maths.
Practically, we can't comprehend it right now. Right? So, like, say a theory is every second of existence from the Big Bang till the end of the universe is continuously playing on a loop, and we just jump into each second. That's as real and possible as time's just linear and it passes through, and that's as possible as time has already gone past and all of time is just playing on a very continuous loop, and where we are now, where we're sitting right now, we've done this a million times already,
or all times all at once,
or all times
that's the whole,
they're
like,
all as equally possible as one another, because
that's like twins in the Matrix sort of
we
thing.
will never ever be able to prove it because we're not part of that fourth dimension.
I want to talk about specifically that in a couple of weeks' time. We're doing about conspiracy theories, about like the Matrix and stuff. Have you got any more?
No.
Where? This is a Louisism, if I'm going to call it. Where does the sky start?
Where does the sky start? Good question. It's a very good question. I don't know.
If I can die,
Does the sky start? Is there a definitive? We have different layers of the atmosphere.
But does the sky start like in a podcast, like an inch from the floor?
it's wherever I can jump off and die.
No.
No.
No. So where's it start?
I don't know.
6 feet above my
I
head?
don't really know how. I see the sky personally as just the thing you see when you look up.
Okay. So where's the blue start?
It's already there.
I mean, blue's caused by
I know it's not. I know it's not an actual thing. I know it's not an actual thing, but like because you can see it, that's our reality. Right?
There will be a certain amount of atmosphere that light has to pass through before you perceive it as blue. I don't know the amount, but like
it's quite interesting. There's like literally like almost like a dome where the blue starts. Almost. I know you can't physically be there or see it, but like.
But there must be a definition of the sky because there's loads of different layers of our atmosphere and stuff. I just don't know it, to be honest. What would you say is the sky?
There. Like
you think this is the
one
sky?
inch from above the ground? Yeah.
So if you jump, you're flying.
I think so. No, I just think I think so. I only thought this recently, but I think like that. I don't know. Because I thought maybe that I was like originally I was like 6 feet above my head. I was like, well, why there? Why not there?
Pressure, temperature,
I don't know.
height, gravitational field.
Interesting question.
There's a lot of differences between here and up there, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
Other
a
than, like-
specific altitude.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyone knows?
Tell us, where's the sky start?
Okay. We've got our first edition of Mason coming. He'll be walking through this door to us in about 9 minutes' time. For you in several seconds. I'm excited.
Beer.
Beer.
What do you think?
So we haven't drunk it now, but we had it a little while ago.
I drank beer a second ago.
I actually quite liked it, but I didn't want to touch the sediment in the bottom of the glass.
I
thought it was quite nice.
For a microbrew.
For a microbrew.
I don't really like microbrew.
For a North English IPA. North English?
Well, I don't
North
like the microbrewing things we've had. Microbrewing in general, I don't probably.
Declan?
I don't really like Shiraz. There's not a big description on this. It just says, this wine is intended to be enjoyed whilst young and fresh and is ready for drinking now. Store in a cool, dark place. It's alright. I don't really like Shiraz. It smelled horrible, and it didn't taste much better.
It
So-
smells like cheese.
House by Sainsbury's is a non-recommendation. The first non-recommendation
Really?
by Declan. Yeah, I thought
Really?
it was just a bit of a boring wine.
Fair play.
It was just a Shiraz that
That's disgusting.
you could get away with not drinking, and you've already experienced it.
Alright, fair enough. Right, thanks for
There you go.
listening.
Very much.
Enjoy Name the Place with Mace. Welcome to Name the Place with Mace. This is Mason.
It's Mason.
Hello.
Nathan's younger, uglier brother, as you can see.
So, it's week. It's week one with you, Mace. You have no idea, do you, what's about to happen?
No. All I
Right,
say is I've got collared here and that's about it.
fine.
See what
So,
happens.
with these two, you've got to describe the place that's going to be on the screen. Right? It might be a word, it might be a picture, it might be some drawings.
And we got to guess where you're describing.
Right?
But you
Right.
can't
If you
say
don't
it.
know the place,
Yeah. I was probably
tough
going to
luck.
happen
You,
quite a
you've
lot.
just got to keep going and going and going until you go at the place.
Louis, why are you so
Does
short?
it tell me the
So I'm
name
not
as
seeing
well?
anything. It does say your name, yeah.
Okay, thank God for that.
If it takes you half an hour, it takes you half an hour, buddy. And then,
I don't know.
ready?
Yeah,
This
ready.
is Name the Place with Mace.
You got it right.
Right, let me leave first.
Right, we've got to carry the podcast on our shoulders like we have been doing for
6 episodes now.
a couple of months.
change the
No, red, white and green flag.
Italy.
Horizontal. Correct. Our capital.
Yeah,
London.
A lot of sweatshops there.
China.
No.
Vietnam.
Thailand.
Yes.
God
We beat the war. in
Germany.
Afghanistan. Yep.
That's all he knows. That's all he knows
He
about
loves, he
Germany.
loves the place.
What?
China,
No.
America,
No.
France, Disneyland.
Yes.
Ah,
I should name places with Disneyland.
The
in
place Germany beat
France.
in the war. No.
Poland.
Yes.
it. He just knows the war.
He referenced it in the Energy podcast.
Eh? Try that again.
In your last podcast with the Energy.
Japan.
No.
Try a different tactic.
Fictional.
Simpson, Springfield.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh God.
Nathan, no, this one is.
I know this one, but how to describe it? He's about. The owner is about 4 foot tall, quite hairy feet.
Very
Gumpy land.
confused.
I mean,
A
I really
Hobbiton.
don't know what to.
Hobbiton.
I know, right, this one.
Yeah, mate.
A shelled animal which you can eat.
Yeah, a snail.
Yeah.
Is it France?
Fucking thank you. I love how you flipped the picture as well, one of them.
New York.
Yeah. I read the word, I was like, beep. Back with me, my bad. I love how I'm saying tags as
Well
well. You've got
done,
New
Declan.
York instantly there. The kids film with it.
Neverland.
No.
It's
4 zoo animals.
Zootopia.
No. 4 zoo animals.
Uh,
with like the
Madagascar.
Yes.
I think you said full of zoo
No,
animals.
4
I understand that now.
sheep shaggers.
Wales.
Yep. Or this is quite good. Restaurant.
Italy.
No.
Green.
Close. With the restaurant. No.
Bella
It's a
Italia.
restaurant. No. You're on the
Prezzo.
right lines. No.
Giraffe.
Frank and Benny's.
No.
What's he want
Green
from me?
Huh?
Green Room.
No.
Greenland.
No.
What's the other Italy
Is it?
one?
I can't say what food.
Nando's.
Though. No. I can't say what food 'cause it
Pizza.
gives it away.
Express.
Yes. A lot of people do car meats here.
Tesco
Tesco
car park.
car park. Yeah.
Tesco. Oh god. They all no, that's not. I'm thinking of prawns. No. I'm thinking of for that. No, I was going to say they all wear so coloured black, but they don't. Wrong one. Skegness.
Butland.
Yes. Right, now we're done. We're on to part 2.
I know what you two are on about. Right,
Oh.
stay there, Louis.
That was
You can come and say bye if you want.
name the place
Yeah.
with Mace.
Yeah, name the place with Mace. It was already better than Nathan's segment. Alright, thanks for listening or watching.
Alright.
If you
See
exist.
Thanks for having me. I'll be back in next week then.
Your segment's over.
Thank you for watching this Guzzler video.